35 minutes. Why did we only have 35 minutes? I erased a whole bunch of stuff from his phone. Still only have 35 minutes. I don't know. Alright, it is what it is. Oh, what a day. Well, I spent 2 hours today talking someone down from a hunger strike. Don't know if I accomplished anything, but that's what's going on here. Oh, this is what I gotta press, right? I want to put it on cruise control, my good man. So, I have a nice Dvar Torah for today, but I still want to talk about some things going on. What did I want to talk about? So, I was disappointed today. I'm going away next week to a conference in a certain town, certain city actually, small city. And there's a college there. They have a Hillel, and they actually have a kosher concession there. You can get kosher food there. I ate there once, noticed some students with yarmulkes. They recently hired a new Hillel rabbi there. I actually applied for the position, was turned down. But I saw there was this. I wrote to the new Hillel rabbi there, and I asked her. If it's over a month ago, I wrote to her. If she was interested in having me come there as a guest speaker, or I could conduct a tish. Next week is Chai Elul. I'm Neinikal from Moralmy Prague. It's his yard site. Make a yard site tish. Something nice for the students, for the community. No answer. Follow up 3, 4. Finally today she responded, "Yeah, I got your message. Not interested this time." I don't think there was even a thank you there. Is there anybody here? Nobody here. I'm not going to go in this mikveh if nobody's here. Go down to Airport Road and turn there. So, I don't know. It bummed me out a lot because, if she would have told me no a month ago, I would have reached out to some other colleges in the area or other organizations within the college or something. I wasn't asking for money. I happened to be in the area. I'm available to speak. Why would someone turn me down, first of all? The whole thing is pretty upsetting to me, to be honest. But mostly is that she turned me down is not as bad as that she waited till the last minute, so I couldn't. It's almost like she was trying to block me from. Maybe I passed Airport Road already? Like she was trying to block me from speaking anywhere, almost. That's Airport Road, isn't it? Maybe. So, it disappointed me, and it hurts, and I'll be honest, but recently I've been working on what the Kalavar Rebbe wrote about last week, rejoicing in suffering, and, to be Sameach v'Yisurim, and what a good thing, and I've been sick all week, and I can say I was able to fulfill that. I had a certain level of joy in this suffering, even though I complained a little bit about it. But it was a joyous suffering. It wasn't so bad. But I was too sick to go to work, and I certainly didn't want to spread it to my coworkers or to the inmates. Close to 1,500 inmates. probably close to, between inmates and staff, 2,000 people. Something like that could spread pretty bad, and it was it was a bad stomach virus. Wasn't much to be done about it. I had to get up and go to the doctor to get a doctor's note to justify being out of work for 4 days. But it I could say, although I had some bout with depression, particularly the first night of the sickness, the first night after I missed work, and I had a pretty dark depression, and I'll be honest with that, but I made it through it, and I have things to work on, I recognize, but I was at that point that I recognized that I had to work on this idea of rejoicing in suffering. And to be honest, this hurt of rejection hurts more than the illness. But again, we're taught to rejoice in suffering, and so I want to be makabel that with simcha and recognize that this is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me to do. I'll be honest. It was it's always good, Shir Lo Yizamli V'Sichel B'Chol Nifloisav says in Tehillim, sing to him, make music to him, and speak of all his wonders. Even a small aspect of what it means to have hashgacha pratis, to have experience divine providence. I was asked to visit another institution within the same Department of Corrections in the state where I serve, and did such a thing that they'll send me somewhere else, to help out when needed. And I thought it was pretty odd that my supervisors said no, and didn't make much sense to me why they would say no. For various reasons, they sent me on other similar trips, and yet I didn't, I asked why and didn't get much of an answer. I didn't really like the answer, but I didn't argue too much, and so that's how it was. And we actually have a rabbi who I supervise, comes once a week. When he can't make it, I fill in for him, but I'm not going to be there on the day when he usually comes. So the day that I would have been away, I'm able to make that up, essentially, so the community has something on that day, the Jewish community there. And so I see that as a certain level of hashgacha pratis, that I should be there. I did write back to this rabbi in this Hillel saying, asking for constructive criticism. I kind of wanted to say, can we schedule for next year? Maybe I didn't give you enough advance notice, because I come back every year as soon as I know the date, something like that. But it's clear that by her lack of professionalism, her rudeness to me, that she just doesn't want an Orthodox rabbi to, taint her holy campus. And, and it's their loss. It's her loss. It's their loss. I mean, if I had an opportunity like that, I'm faced with that all the time in my prison. We have people, they want to come and speak, and sometimes say yes, sometimes say no, it depends. But it's, generally, and more recently, I've been saying yes more. But what did she have to lose by this? The whole thing is, it's difficult for me to understand why I would be rejected for this, if not just. And I mentioned that I'm involved in interfaith work and pluralistic approach and things, and it seems there's just a general bigotry against the Orthodox. that's manifested in the left, the Jewish left mostly, but in general in the left, and the thing is I would have written to, if I would have known, I would have written to, I did write to the college Republicans there. I wrote to them on Facebook. I don't know if they got the message or not. But if there's a similar group, Turning Point or Prager Force or something, and so it's disappointing to me. Because I don't have so many opportunities to do things like this. There are conferences I would like to speak at, I'd like to attend, and I don't have time for it. I'm thankful that I'm busy and I have a good job, but here I had an opportunity. I was going to be in the area. It would have worked out perfectly. I gave them a wide amount of time that I was available, 3 days, and with a preferred time, but and I kind of feel like I want to report to her superior about how unprofessional she was to not it's highly unprofessional to wait a month to respond to an email like that. Highly unprofessional. If the answer is no, you could have answered at that time, and but I don't know, is it worthwhile? Because I don't want, it's like a pulsa denora, like what, kind of like what the secular world talks about karma, like it comes back to you. I don't want, I don't need stuff like that coming back to me. It's fine. I'm just, maybe if I vent here, I get it off my chest, and but it's upsetting. It is upsetting. It's disappointing. It's hurtful. And do people recognize that, when in other cases, when someone extends themselves like that and offers, how much does it hurt if you're in a position to, to have something like this, to be accepting of something like this? Because I'm thinking of, someone I gave a chance to once, and I feel like I don't want to give them a chance again, but why should I say no? We had a concert come to the prison. Christian, they labeled it as a Christian concert, so it went through religious programming. And my answer, I think, in the future is it should go through activities program, because I felt like it wasn't sufficiently Christian. And I'm not a Christian, but it almost seemed like they tacked religion on as excuse that they could go through religious services instead of going through activities, although I understand the same group goes through activities in other institutions when I discuss with others, but they brought so much equipment, and I just felt like, if they're coming to give a message, and it shouldn't matter, they don't need to hide behind all kinds of equipment. I feel like they were kind of just hiding behind their mediocrity, behind all this fancy equipment. And it's a security issue to bring all this stuff into a prison. And it's a lot of work, and there's no need for it, and it's ridiculous. But again, and I want to say that, but on the other hand, I was like, why do I have to be rude? Even though I feel like that, and it's not only me, our Christian chaplains agreed with me. They were very upset at the whole thing. But these young men were offering their services free of charge. I was apprehensive about it at first. I was not happy with the outcome. But I still don't feel any way that I can justify rejecting them outright. So, and if you are a speaker and you have any advice for me. How do you get into speaking at a college like this? You know, it's, how do you do it? You know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I figured, well, I have to. You know, I don't have a gabe. I don't have someone who's going to send an email for me, and neither should I. Ich bin nicht kein größer Rebbe. Ich darf a gabe. I was trying to show a certain level of humility, even though I was presenting myself as whatever, Koblenzer Roof, because I want to present something. But I was presenting myself, nicht kein gabe, nicht kein, you know. How do you do it? What advice do you have for that? You know, I always think when I come to this place where I'm going to mikveh now, I should put up a sign, I'm available to speak Motzei Shabbos and Malava Malka. Can reden auf Yiddish, auf English. And I always forget, and I should make the sign or something. So, whatever, I'm at the mikveh now. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. On the way back, we'll talk Torah, okay? All right. Hatzlacha Rabba Kol Tov. Take care. Shabbos.